Oh, we are live.
Oh, there we
awesome.
go. We're live.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, we're live.
If y'all were in the room like 10 minutes ago, you guys would have been like hilariously laughing. Hysterically laughing.
I even broke a cable. I didn't find the cable. The light didn't work. I mean, it's just funny. So I want to introduce you guys, and then you can introduce me.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
We'll make a party out of it, right?
It's a
So
quiz.
Ash
You know
and
us.
Steph, we met at the Women Conference of Florida. I was on your podcast, Live Bold and Boss Up, and then you were on my podcast, and we're always kind of doing fun stuff with each other. And I was at your thankfulness party.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yes.
Loved it. I met a chocolatier, right?
Yes.
Amazing. So
Yes.
that's you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you want to introduce Jacqueline?
Okay, this is Jacqueline Pirtle. She is an author for both adults and children. I love your children's book. She has her podcast, the Corporate Happiness Show. You have a lot of things going on.
Her company, the FreakyHealer.
The FreakyHealer company. You have all these names. I was like, wait, is the FreakyHealer the podcast? She's like, no, it's the Corporate Happiness Show. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I
love
know, right? And I forgot to say that you guys are Next Path.
Next.
Yeah.
The best recruiting firm ever.
Thank you.
And you have dogs in your office.
We do.
We have
Where's
two today.
Bernie?
Bernie was playing.
Let's see if he's.
We're getting
No,
Bernie.
He's not in the hallway.
We're getting Bernie.
I was hopeful that he would sneak in once I opened the door, but no.
That's okay. I'm sure we'll hear him in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about corporate happiness
Yes.
and layoffs and how to
Right. There's been a lot of that going on.
keep it together and how to make the best out of this time, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's talking about all the layoffs and what's going to happen to the economy. Everyone's kind of starting to freak out. It's like a little bit of PTSD from a couple years ago.
Right.
So we're here to like put everyone at ease. I mean, I think it's helping us too, right? Because we're human and we feel those feelings too. So how do we cope with all of this? Where do we go? Where do we look for happiness? Like, what does that look like?
Right. Where do you find that peace in the middle of all the turmoil?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's like, to me, you guys are right there, experts, so you're getting the people that are actually in not really a happy frequency or very aligned because they're worrying and whatnot, and they're coming to you, and that puts a lot of pressure on you too. So I think it's like when you guys talk about what's needed, to me it's very helpful because that's where I'm coming from, to help people find ease and to take your knowledge because you're right there with the people, like when people come to you, right? What they can do for themselves, but also what you guys can do for them in order to pull this together. Because to me, it's all about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's all about the bigger picture.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you are laid off, like probably the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. Like you automatically go into this like panic mode. But like, what are some like mind exercises, or what can you do to kind of flip that switch and think more positively?
Yeah. I mean, I think first of all, it's if you're in this shock and fear, right, and it just happened, and then you say, oh wait, I have to be happy, it's not gonna work,
Right.
It's important to actually really honor your feelings, right? That's for sure. So I think a helpful practice is to take a deep breath and embrace that you're feeling that way. It's okay that you feel that way, because if you think like, oh no, I have to turn this positive, you just create more resistance. You're going from this way right away to that way, and that's really not so easy.
Right.
So I think to embrace it and to say, okay, this is a bombshell, right? I am really scared. That fear is coming up, and I really feel threatened, and I feel resentful, or whatever these feelings are, and just really honor these feelings, maybe even write them down on a list, and say, okay, well, I feel this way, and that's okay. That's me, right? And because what happens then is you already kind of bring some sort of relaxation into the whole thing. And
So-
nothing has to change right there. You can
Right.
just be you, right?
So you're saying like, when you're saying like, hey, write these feelings down, or just it's okay to feel that way, like, are you saying, hey, if you feel like crying, just cry, just let it out. Don't try to suppress it, right? Just feel the feelings, acknowledge what happened.
Yes.
And allow yourself to be in that moment for a minute.
Absolutely. Because think about it this way. All these feelings that you feel, they're yours to feel. Nobody ever makes you feel that way. We think, okay, I lose my job and I feel that way. That's why I feel that way. But ultimately, they're all your feelings. So the more you embrace them and the more you sit with them, the more you let them be,
right.
the more you let yourself be, and you're embracing yourself, who you are, because these feelings are already in you. What also happens is when you let them come out and you're sitting with them and really, maybe name them, claim them, right? And sit with them a minute. What happens is a lot of times it's not even that you just lost a job or you got fired or you decided to quit. That sometimes can happen too. I want to quit and I'm like, oh wait, did I really want that, right? So what happens is these feelings you're feeling right at that moment, they're not just from that, they're from past, from trauma, from experiences, from life. So what it means is like all this stuff comes up in order to go out. That's how you heal. That's how you embrace yourself. So you're doing yourself a real favor, and it's a real great act of self-love to say, this is how I feel. And then you just sit a minute with it and breathe into it, and then go celebrate that you actually love yourself that much to say, this is how I feel.
Right. And I mean, silver lining maybe to being laid off or to quitting your job, you have that much more time on your hands to feel that, right? Step one, like feel all those feelings and what you're feeling, but also figure out like what is the next step to make you happy? Like in what world and what job and what corporate environment, whatever it is, what is it that's going to maybe fill your cup a little bit more than before?
That's your opportunity to start fresh and like start new and maybe do something different or take a course or
absolutely
be happy
and be aligned again, because a lot of times we chose a job years ago and it's maybe not even aligned anymore, and usually it gives you an opportunity to kind of like heighten your happiness, your joy, because you change too. A lot of times we take a job and then you change but the job doesn't, so it's like there's this misalignment, right? And that's the thing. So but I think that's the next step. So first claim and just say, it's okay that I feel that way. I will be fine. It's all good, because it brings this sort of like peacefulness in it. It slows everything down. And from there, you wake up the next morning and say, okay, I'm going to make an effort. It's not really an effort, but I'm going to make a priority to see who am I today, now, and what makes me happy and what would fulfill me. And what happens then is you heighten your energy, your frequency, where actually your new job then can actually come to you.
Right.
And that, to me, that's a very healthy way of dealing with any crisis, to kind of like go with that. And yes, there's financial, fears and whatnot, but that's never helped you before, and it's not going to help you more.
Right.
So to kind of like really take it in step by step and process, and then call you guys.
Call us.
Yeah.
Call me.
I know. Yeah. Call.
What song is that?
I don't know. I was thinking of Call Me Maybe.
Tyrone.
Oh.
You better call Tyrone.
Come hang out with your doggies and then find happiness again. And also, I think it's like another thing to say is like if you have a family or a partner, or any children or whatnot, the way, if you process it that way, you're also kind of like really showing, especially your young people at home, to say, hey, listen, stuff happens in life, right? And this is how I process it. I take it, I own it, I embrace it, and then I move forward into finding my next joy, and that's, in my eyes, a healthy process.
Right. One thing I was just thinking of is if you have some extra time, I think that it would be beneficial, like a feel-good thing, to go volunteer and like help out people maybe that are in, less fortunate, or go give back to your local shelter or whatever, feed the homeless, like something that's a feel-good thing. And plus that comes back to you, like that energy of doing something positive for someone else. I think will come back to you.
I love that. Yeah.
That's just what I was thinking. What
I
would
like
do.
that a lot. Yeah, I like that a lot. Or maybe you've always wanted to write a book or start a podcast
right.
or do anything, put a
There's
course
the
together.
time.
Or like, I feel like with COVID, for instance, what happened is like there was this like, oh my gosh, COVID. But look how many people actually started something completely different.
Right.
And they're actually succeeding, they're happy, they're like, so the creation process is like amazing. It really is. And to kind of trust in that too, that you have it inside of you to manage it, to get through this life situation, to heal, to find more happiness. And hey, there is really good stuff coming out at the end when you hold yourself accountable to kind of like really gently with you, and then you heighten your energy and whatnot, and joy and gratitude and all that kind of good stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
I love that.
I know, me too.
Let's talk about real quick why employee happiness or why like self-happiness is important to corporate and to business owners, right? Because I think like some business owners might be like, okay, great, yes, you're happy, but what does that really mean in corporate speak, right? Like what, corporate happiness, what can that really bring the business owners and the business, right? When your employees are happy and in this right state of mind and they find that right job for them at the moment, like that could be huge for the business, right? People could probably work maybe a little bit faster or just get things done in a different manner or a little bit more passionate, be more productive, right? And really like that energy of just happiness is probably I don't know, I feel like it's catchy, right? And it just like radiates throughout different things, and then they're kind of able to kind of brainstorm and create a little bit more efficiently.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's just, it binds when you're happy at work. And happiness, what is that really? That can be joy, bliss, health. It can be financially being taken care of. It can be safe space. It means a little bit something to different to everyone, but it's under, happiness is this big, to me it's like, the motherhood of all good feelings, right? So when you work at a place and your people are happy, they feel loyal to you. They feel accountable too, like to themselves. They hold themselves responsible, because I really believe that people naturally want to have a meaning in life. They want to show up and live a good day. They want to be productive and creative. And I think when you show your people in the way that they need to be shown that you care about them and they're happy, then they will give you whatever they got, even in a crisis. Because crises happen, businesses crisis happen. That's just, it's life, right? And so we're not trying to every day be happy and whatnot. No, you're sometimes sad, you're angry, there is a problem, whatever, money lost, money gained, something, right? But I think when you have a good environment where people are happy, they stay. They're like, well, it's life. Right. It's life. But if they're unhappy, they're like, well, I'm leaving. But if they're happy and something happens, then you can talk to these people and they're like, well, I mean, that's life, it's a business, it's like, let's see where this goes, what can we do? And I think it's really important, and that starts at the top.
You just said something really important that jogged my memory on quiet quitting. We did an episode on that where that's quite the area, right, where if you're not quite happy, then your employees will go into this like quiet quitting thing. I know they
like mentally checked out.
Right,
they
like mentally checked out. They do the bare minimum, but if they're happy, like you said, they're going to stick with you and the business and whatever needs to get done, right? Because they're happy, they're engaged, they feel a sense of fulfillment with what they're doing.
I also think that if you provide a really good environment and safe environment, because I don't think there's happiness without feeling safe, So
what does
safe
that mean,
environment,
safe?
Safe environment in a way where people can come to work and say, today I'm just having a really hard day,
right.
And you can actually say how you feel, or you can say, look, when we do this, I don't really agree with that, or that doesn't really, or you know, my the money I'm making at the company is just so little, and I have a family. So to me, that's safety. So you can actually professionally go in and properly say who you are and what your situation is. And I think if you have a safe environment, that means you're creating a happy environment for your people, and they will actually be able to say, before I quit, I'd rather talk plain out straight how it looks for me. And you know, that to me is a compliment to a company. You know, if the people go and say, I kind of just want to talk straight out, right?
Like emotional security.
Yeah.
Emotional safetyness.
Yeah, I think it's probably different for everybody, and that's what's most challenging as a business owner or a manager, because everyone is different on what happiness is to them. Some it's money, some is flexibility, some is your coworkers. Like, it means something different to everyone, so you have to really know your people, know what makes them happy, and just allow for flexibility, like to have a little bit of different like happiness kind of buffer for each person.
Happiness buffer.
Happiness buffer.
Yeah.
I like
Just
that. Actually brings up HR to me, because on my show I have a lot of HR people that come on the show, and they talk, and it's really incredible to listen to who they want to be as HR people. And I think HR people, they don't even want to be called that way, so they found new words, people ops and whatnot. But HR people actually are really, really wanting to be partners to the leadership. And I think that's what you're saying. You have to know your people. I think you should be able to give HR the reins and say, find out who our people are, make it good, and then report back to me. And I think that's that comes from a trust, and I think if you have a leader that's really happy and secure, safe feeling for himself too, he's going to be able to, or he or she or they are going to be able to do that. And so that's why it starts by the leadership, because if you cannot as a leadership give the power to your people, then we're already kind of talking trouble here. But if you can actually give the power to your people, and that comes from you have an open heart, you trust, you know you're taken care of, and you know how it works in the bigger picture, that actually the people don't work for you. It's a partnership, it's a community. And that's why I think it's really important that leadership works on themselves, and that rolls over to their families too. I mean, it's a win-win for everyone, really.
Right. They're all connected. Everyone's happiness transfers to someone else's, or someone else's unhappiness may be transferred to someone else just by the energy. And
you could totally feel that, right? When a coworker walks in and they're in a bad mood, you can feel that.
Yeah.
Or if they're in a happy mood. Like Kelly walks in the office and we're like, whoa, blown away by her happiness and excitement, and you feel that. You feel that, and it changes you for the better or for maybe the worse sometimes.
Yeah,
So.
I think so too. And I also think that a lot of times businesses think okay, what can we do to make people happier so they work better or whatnot? And I kind of want to turn this around. I don't think we need to help the people be happier. They already go out, walk with their dogs or children, or do something fun or whatnot, and then they come in. But if the leadership, the business is not sustainable, then it's really hard for these people to stay happy. I actually think it would be more how can the leaders help themselves to be happier, to bring a much more positive energy to the company, and then also in the company, what do the people need, right? Because everyone needs something different, and to really get involved and to go talk to your people, and not with the thing of how can I make you happier so you work faster. No, it's how can I provide a stage that is so amazing and happy and inspiring and good for growth and everything, that when you come in, you can bring your happiness and we get even happier. And if you have a hard day, you can come and you'll be uplifted, right?
Yeah,
and growth, beautiful. I think, is a really big thing.
Growth is big, yeah.
Yeah, because, companies want growth in a company, but they don't want their people to grow, and that's a misalignment. And through the show and whatnot, I heard all this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really potent, right?
That's crazy, because if your people are growing, it will help your company grow, because then you just kind of like all grow together, and then everyone's growing and happy.
Do you feel like business owners do a good job of sharing with their employees the importance of the work? Like sometimes I feel like there's a misalignment there. If business owners shared with their employees why they were doing the work that they're doing, like why it's so important, and share with them like the purpose and the passion that they see and have, like maybe that would help just kind of align everybody.
Be more open.
Right.
I think about everything, wins and fails and hardships and everything, because a lot of times the people don't even know what's going on, and then they just kind of get the information like, whoa, I did not know. And I think that makes you feel like, wow, so I'm in this company, but that means you're separate from the company. But if you involve your people, they feel part of it, right?
Yeah,
then you're not just doing a job, you have a mission and a purpose to fill.
So what do you think, like, from when people come to you, like, okay, so somebody lost a job or decided to quit, and then it starts to hit like, oh, now what am I going to do now? So how do you think, like, for the people that come to you to prepare themselves so you can do your job the best possible way too? Because you can't live it for them, but you can be a partner. And what do you need?
That's a great question, because I feel like it all starts with getting to know what's important to them, getting to know them. Like, do they want, like, again, what I was just saying, like, do they want a flexible environment? Do they want like a certain type of environment to work in, or what's important to them? Getting to know them, and then putting them in the right match, like not just putting two pieces together, but finding the right fit. It is a puzzle it's like a matchmaker. We're matchmakers, and we're trying to find the right fit by getting to really know them. So I think that's key. A lot of recruiting firms may not get to know their candidates. They just try to, oh, you have this skill, they're looking for this skill, let's put them together. And all the soft stuff doesn't matter.
So and that's maybe actually the least that matters, right?
Right, because you can learn skills. It's all the other stuff that you can't change as easily, or, that shouldn't budge. Yeah.
And do you think, like, so with all the layoffs and everything, I think that's probably something I want to know, but I'm pretty sure people want to know too. Do you really believe that there are enough jobs out there, like enough places that are looking for people?
Right now, there's about just less than 500,000 jobs out there, and there are only about 250, so quarter of that are people looking for jobs. So there's definitely enough jobs out there, not enough people looking for them.
So that should actually put people on ease right there. So if you're in that situation, just knowing the numbers, that's really great. So you will find a job for sure. It's about how to and to change and everything, and using it as, like you said in the beginning, as a growth opportunity. And because I always say, like, if you're unhappy you're unhappy in the love life, for instance, and you want a new partner, but from that unhappiness, you're searching for a partner, and you're probably going to find the same type of partner again where the problems existed. But if you work on yourself, and it's not hard work, it doesn't take long either, but if you kind of grow as you, and then you go out, right, you will go to different places. That means you'll meet different people. You have a different energy, a different hobbies maybe, and a different way of thinking and feeling. That means you will find a different type of person, and that will make you happy. And that's with job the same. Use it as a growth, and don't come from this, from the feeling of, like, embrace your feelings, but then shift them into positiveness and whatnot. And then from there, you can take a course, you can do something, and from there you can find a different job.
Right.
Right?
I love that analogy because I was just picturing in my head, like, for a person, some people will take the first job that comes along because they're scared.
Yes.
Can you imagine if you're looking for a mate and you just took the first person that came along?
That
and
is
you're
really
like, hey,
freaking scary.
right? It's not going to
No,
last
thank
long,
you.
and you're not going to be happy.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
No.
You have to really find the right one. Don't just take the first one that comes along.
I love that analogy. That's exactly.
That's what I was picturing in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
Yes.
yeah, you wouldn't do that either.
Right.
And a job is very important. You're many hours there, and you want to be fulfilled too. So
Yeah.
that's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
That's a great way.
I don't
to-
want to picture that. Actually.
No.
Nope, no, thank you. No, that's really interesting. But yeah,
So I would be curious, and I would love, hopefully we'll have some like comments or people that watch this and they have questions or they have a story to share, because I would love to hear that and be able to answer some questions. So I don't know.
we're so far away
I
from
know.
our phones that we can't listen or read, or
Oh.
we have a time limit on
Yep.
Instagram, but that's fine.
good by putting a time limit on, but then it's bad in this case.
That's all right.
There we go. So I don't know.
I definitely learned a lot from this conversation. So I hope y'all did.
Got a close up of my face. I was trying to see.
So I mean,
That's fun.
that's the thing. Is like I really think embrace, sit with it. It's all okay. There's so many jobs out there,
Yeah.
and you have Next Path that can help you. And from a positive way, that doesn't mean you're in denial. That's different.
Yeah.
But from a positive way, you will find the job. You will find the life you want. You will grow. You will, and never give up on it. Like, don't settle.
No, it may
Don't
take some
settle.
time.
Take
Take-
some time.
Yeah, it may take a little bit of time. Finding that perfect opportunity for you. It's not going to be the first thing that comes along. So don't rush it.
Yeah. And
Out
the
there.
thing is like, maybe what I want to put in there is like a lot of clients I have, they're in that situation to try to find something. And it's just interesting for when they come and start with me. The first thing that I usually say is oh, we're not going to look for a job right this moment. Not like this. We want to shift your energy first. So we work a little bit on aligning, on understanding yourself better, and going through these feelings that are not helpful and kind of sort them out a little, shift a little bit, tell them where they're coming from, and then you literally see the shift of the people or the person. And from there, then they usually come and say, so I wonder what's next, because they figured themselves out right now. They learned so much about it. So what's next? I'm like, well, now we go.
Right.
And then they write the resume, and then I have them send me the resume, and then I say I'm going to energetically scan the resume, because I'm sure there is stuff in there that's just not in alignment.
Yeah.
Because every word, everything has an energy. So we scan through that, and then we look, and then usually it's just like not high for life enough, like these words, and you got to sneak in these words, and so when you give the resume to someone, it knocks them off their socks, right? Because it's so in alignment, like they already feel it in the paper when they're holding it, right? Then they change the resume and everything, so the wording is actually aligned energetically with what they're looking for. And then we go, and then because they're so tuned in, then they're like, you know what? I was walking at the beach the other day, and I had this idea that I think a company like that would actually really be cool, and that's where we go. So make a list of the companies that you would like to work. What excites you? Is it sports? Is it fashion? Don't look, also look jobs that are open, but why not look at the companies, what excites you? And then, because you can find marketing, sales, whatnot in every company, and then go say, hey, this excites me, and then make a list of the companies, go on LinkedIn, and then click on the people, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how you really figure out what you want now, because I tell you, you're going to be so surprised about what you actually wanted, what you actually want now, and what you thought you wanted.
Right.
And then go from there and realize that companies, when you knock them off their socks, can actually create a job for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, maybe like, would it be possible for somebody to come to you and say, this is what interests me, can you find me something? and then you go and talk with these companies, say, I have a real great candidate, without the job even being right.
Yeah,
I've done that before, and like for the right person, companies can make any job.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like something to really put out there. There's so many jobs open, but companies will make space for you. They will create a job for you, and that's why I think where you totally come in, because you have the connections, you know where to look. But if somebody knows this excites me and this is what I do, what can we find? Right?
No, I love your advice too on like just getting in alignment with the resume and with just thinking about what you really want and getting in the right spot and putting that energy on paper. Love that.
Yeah.
Well,
and aligned then. It's like, I mean, you can literally feel it. It's like, you know, like, did you send the resumes out? Oh yeah, I did. And it's like, you can literally energetically, that's what I do, all energy. You can literally feel it, you know, and then imagine people getting these resumes and it's knocked off their socks and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Right? What is that movie with Reese Witherspoon where she puts the resume on a pink paper and it has
Legally Blonde.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But you don't need to do that.
It's scented too.
But it's, I know. But in that kind of way, because the world works like that. So to really contact you, to figure out what I like to do, and contact you, and then you guys go and you're these magic makers, right?
You and then us and then
Yeah.
No, so that's why I wanted to highlight that there's really a process, and that process doesn't have to take long. When you're aligned, it goes like that,
Right,
you know.
yeah.
So
This has been amazing, guys.
Yes.
I'm so glad we did this.
I know.
so fun. Once we finally
Once we finally
get
figured it
the
out,
technology piece,
broke
we'll
a
have to
few
do this
things, we're
again.
fine.
Well,
we're
that
good.
was me. Don't let the freaky go. It's like wild, right?
I love it.
But anyway, so it was really good.
Yeah,
And we're gonna
thank
share
you.
and spread. We'll have
yes.
recordings. And it's amazing. And we
you
have a sound engineer on hand too.
Yes,
Woohoo,
Say
Zoe.
hi. Yeah, you show yourself. Sound.
Oh, she's barely peeking in there.
Sound scientist.